I assume you all know the deep web. Well, what you've heard is true. It's not a great place. While some people are there, drugs, guns, or just out of pure curiosity, others, well, obviously they're not up to anything. Well, but I'm not here to talk about those people. I'm here to talk about what's beyond that point. The most cryptic and inexplicable part of the internet. The part that supposedly no one should see. An infographic appeared a while back. I don't know exactly when the 8 levels of the internet. Maybe you've seen it as interesting as it may seem. It's complete nonsense. I'm sorry. But polymeric derivation of falsy means nothing. And the Primarch system, I assume someone is a fan of Warhammer. No, there's no quantum mechanics involved here. However, that doesn't mean it's an easy place to find. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to get there. It's unlikely you could do it, even if I will explain it. And I'm not bragging. I just dedicated my whole life to this. I was warned. Of course, everyone told me I wouldn't like what I saw, that I wouldn't even understand it. Now I pass that warning on to you. Don't try to look for this. There is no official name for this place. Or at least I haven't found it. However, there are rumors ranging from theories of an Illuminati chat room to a virtual containment cell for an experimental artificial intelligence that was revealed. The reality is much worse. After a long and grueling process of breaking firewalls, deciphering encryption, solving strange philosophical riddles, and following hidden links, I finally came to a blank page with a single line of text and a box to write. Below it said, "Quid queris" in Latin. What are you looking for? I remember being shocked, but in retrospect I had no idea what was in store for me. I admit I was somewhat taken aback, stumped in part because I didn't know how to answer that question. I had no clear goal. I just wanted to see if I could get there. At first, I tried some generic answers. I wrote things like truth or enlightenment. You know, stuff from the Matrix. Nothing happened. I tried a bunch of answers, but none worked. I was getting frustrated. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe I hadn't really discovered anything. I wish I had. So I tried something out of the ordinary. I'm not sure how I thought of it, or why I thought it would work. But I wrote what I am also looking for. Now that I think about it, this could have been to my surprise. The page went blank. Totally blank. I waited after about 5 minutes. I was directed to what appeared to be a forum. No, even that was nothing more basic, just a list of links on a brownish-yellow background. The links were indecipherable, simple sequences, apparently random characters, symbols, and letters. Many of them I had never seen before, almost looked like an alien language, obviously a code. I didn't understand at that point. My expectations were through the roof. Every link was a shot in the dark. I clicked on the first one. It loaded a live stream of what appeared to be the catacombs of Paris. I watched for a while, but in the end nothing happened. I moved on to the next link. It was a shaky video, recorded in a dark environment. But I could make out some men in tactical gear were in a house, opening doors and checking every room. They finally knocked down a door and found something. A tall humanoid creature with scaly skin was gnawing on a dismembered arm. They tried to shoot it, but it escaped out the window. The video stopped. There I stood, stunned. What the hell was it? That looked too real to be a simple, officially unreleased recording. I was intrigued after all. Maybe they were worth it, so many months of headaches and bloodshot eyes. I could not stop anymore. I started scrolling down the list of links with each click. Everything became stranger, more disturbing. I came across a document called The Paragon Project, which detailed tests of human experimentation that sought to achieve superhuman levels of strength and durability. Apparently, they had been successful. Furthermore, the document seemed official. There were reports of space-time anomalies, glitches in reality, and even apparent images of alternative dimensions. I also found detailed explanations about Area 51, the Bermuda Triangle apparition murders, and the supposed true nature of the Holy Grail. One of the most disturbing documents referred to a doomsday bomb, a nuclear bomb 720,000 times more powerful than the dropped on Hiroshima. I don't want to imagine why anyone would need something like that. I also found contingency plans for different types of apocalypse: nuclear winter, biological weapons, viral outbreaks. Some were more peculiar, like the Mariana Trench abnormality, the mysteriously titled Strange Man on the 15th floor, and one called simply Blackout. There were journals of skinwalker hunting expeditions, transcripts of 91 calls made by residents of a Texas town that disappeared in 1977, and even journals that were said to belong to the people involved in the YL Pass incident. From what I read, they did not go mad from the snow. I spent hours going through pages and pages of things I felt I should not be watching. I found a trailer for a silent film from 1910 that had apparently caused people to tear their eyes out after watching it, almost leading to the collapse of the entire film industry. At the time, I also saw a live broadcast of a hooded man sitting in front of a camera with his head down. At one point, he raised his head, even though he had no mouth. I heard a deep, deep guttural hello through my speakers. Somehow I knew that it was that voice coming from him. I didn't stick around to find out more. There were dark and disturbing guides detailing things like amputating limbs and sewing corpses together, performing religious rituals in the middle of the Siberian jungle, or heading to coordinates where fallen angels were apparently held captive. It was never clear what these things were supposed to accomplish. I also came across a 20-second clip titled "The Futility of the Living." I didn't dare watch it. It was then that I realized something scary. There didn't seem to be an end to the list of links. No matter how much I scrolled down, there was always more. I think I passed out, because I woke up on the floor in the middle of the night. I looked at my computer screen and saw looping footage recorded from a helicopter, showing a huge crab-like creature tearing apart a coastal island. I clicked to quit. I sat there for a long time, unable to comprehend what I was seeing, and I honestly don't think I wanted to understand it. I don't really know now why I followed my brain. It was screaming at me to take the computer out onto the grass and smash it into pieces, but I didn't. I then noticed something I hadn't seen before, a little message in the bottom left corner of the screen. I don't know if it was always there, or if it just appeared. At that moment, it was hard to read, so I had to squint. More Latin translated, it said, "Are you satisfied?" There were two options underneath. Yes. And I didn't know the answer to that question. Of course, I wasn't satisfied. I was horrified, scarred for life. But I should have clicked. Yes, if I had, I would have gotten out of that God-forsaken place back to comfort and sanity. Even now, I don't know why I chose. No, but as soon as I did, the page seemed to refresh. It was still the same basic settings, except now there were only 4 links this time. There were no numbers or recognizable characters. In fact, it didn't look like anything that could belong to this world. It was just a collection of extremely crude symbols with no apparent pattern or sense. I clicked on the first link. After about 20 seconds, I closed the computer. Suddenly, I can't describe what I saw. All I know is that I shouldn't have seen it. No one should see something like that. It's not just that. It didn't make sense, it's that I can't explain why it didn't. It was something like completely incomprehensible. It wasn't graphic or grotesque. I just couldn't recognize anything. I saw things moving, but not in a way that any earthly creature would move colors. I've never seen before. Just thinking about it gives me a headache. This is my best attempt at describing it. We have 3 dimensions on Earth. We can move forward, backward, left-right, 72.4 GR southwest, etc. But those things weren't limited to that. I can't explain. I better left my room for the first time in a long time. I thought about leaving the house. I needed fresh air, take a walk or something. So hell, I was ready to run a marathon in the middle of the night, just to forget about that. For a few hours I was putting on my jacket when I heard a knock on the door. I stood still. Obviously I wasn't going to open it. A few minutes passed, and I heard 5 more knocks before someone spoke. "Open up. We know what you've done. But we haven't come to hurt you. We just want to talk." The tone wasn't threatening. In the end, I agreed. I opened the door and saw 2 tall, thin men dressed in suits. They smiled at me. "Can we come in?" I still don't know how they found me. I think I'm off the grid. We sat on the couch. I guess I was waiting for answers. One of them looked at me, and he asked what you were looking for. "I don't know, but I'm not going back," I answered. He smiled, as if that was exactly what I wanted to hear. The other one intervened. "Who do you work for?" His tone was more aggressive. I shook my head. "Look, I didn't know what I was getting into. I wasn't looking for anything," I answered. They looked at me in silence. For a while. "I'm not going to tell anyone. Trust me." Finally, one of them said, "That doesn't worry us. I doubt anyone will create another smile." And DEA seemed genuine. "We just wanted to know what your priorities were." The other added in retrospect, "That was a very strange question." Then they continued, "Do us a favor, and we will leave." They encouraged me. "Give us the device you used to access." I didn't ask any questions. I ran up the stairs and basically threw my laptop at them. They both smiled at me one last time before heading for the door. Just as they were about to leave, one of them turned around. "I don't think it needs to be said, but don't try that again. And don't show anyone how to get there." "We will know." I didn't ask who they were. I am not sure. I would want to know. It has been a week. I barely got on the internet. After this, I will try to forget. I will try not to think about it anymore. I have started having horrible nightmares. I am seeing a therapist, but I don't think it is helping. Anyway, I am not going to let this consume the rest of my life. The problem is, I'm afraid that's not possible. There are some things we shouldn't know. Probably for our own safety and sanity. Don't try to look them up. It's better like this. However, it may already be too late for me. They say curiosity killed the cat. It's funny right now, that almost feels like a personal attack. I haven't forgotten that night. I mean, it's not something you can erase from your mind. What the hell was the last thing I saw? The strange thing is that it doesn't even show up in my nightmares. It's always the other things. I swear I can see that man without a mouth every time I close my eyes. But maybe it's not so strange if my brain couldn't comprehend it the first time. How could my conscious recreate it? I don't want to think about it anymore, but I can't help it. You'll see my problems are no longer just in my head. I thought this was over after the men in black visited me. I thought everything was over. Over in retrospect. That was naive. It was not a delusion after what I saw. I guess it doesn't work. The world is not that simple. Like that, this is what has been going on. Wednesday, 3 days ago, I went back to work, and I think I'm being followed. I'm not sure what they do the first time. I didn't notice whoever it is. They've been using different vehicles, always the same routine after work. I get in my car and start driving home. A vehicle always follows me until I turn into my driveway, and then it just drives by. If it happens once, I let it go, but 3 times under normal circumstances, I might call it coincidence. But given the circumstances, that's not an option. I'm not sure what the hell they want. Maybe they're just going to... me. God, I hope that's all. If it is, I'll try to lay low and hold on. I'll give them what they want, Thursday this time. I tried to watch them in the rearview mirror. The windows were tinted really nicely. Once again, I pulled into my driveway, and they kept going. I know I said I was just going to ride it out, but this is starting to get to me. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I swear they are following me closer and closer every Friday. Today I decided to do something different instead of driving. I took public transportation after work. I went to a bar. I needed a drink like never before. I guess this was more of an experiment. I wanted to see how closely they were tracking me. If they bother with the wet, fuck them. I'm still living my life. Though I couldn't stop looking at the windows while I was there. After a few drinks, I called a cab, and surprise, surprise there. They were right behind us, but this is what I didn't expect. It was the same car from yesterday. It seems they dropped the act of staying low. I'm not sure how to feel about it. Something more changed this time. They didn't keep driving after the cab dropped me off. I turned around and saw the damn car parked half a block from my house. I just went in. What the hell was I supposed to do? Calling the police? Didn't even cross my mind, to be honest. I don't think that would have helped. It's been 3 hours and they're still there. I haven't been watching them the whole time, so I don't know if they're or not in the car. It's not a fun thing to imagine. No way I'm going to sleep tonight. It's about 2 Now I just got a text from a private number. This is what it said. Get out of your house. Don't use the front door. They're still there. Go to the coffee shop. 5 blocks from here. Don't think about driving. They'll know, hurry up. They're going to come in soon. Don't let them follow you. Leave the lights on. I froze as I read it. They're going in. Why? Who the hell is texting me? I don't know what anyone else would have done in my place, but I decided to follow the warning. I was paranoid as ever, dazed and tired. I put on a jacket and walked out the back door. I also took a backpack with my other laptop. I don't know why, but I felt I would need it. I waited a moment before jumping over it close. When I was sure no one had seen me, I started walking towards the coffee shop after about 40 minutes. Finally, I arrived. I could have been faster, but I hid in the bushes every time a car passed. I glanced inside. There was a group of drunk college students, a couple of truck drivers, and a man in a hoodie typing on a computer in the background. He didn't look threatening. In fact, he was quite scrawny. I made a guess. I walked over to his table and sat down. He stared at me. Hello. What do you want? Did you text me? There was a brief pause for a moment. I got worried. What if it wasn't him? But he broke the silence before panic set in. Yes, they are following you. I don't think so. He nodded, as if that was enough confirmation. Then he laughed a dry, short laugh, as if this was all some kind of joke that only he understood. Wow, man, you really screwed up. Not hard to argue with that. What were you doing anyway? What you expected to find? Nothing, I swear. I did it just because. I guess he looked at me in disbelief. a mixture of amusement and disapproval on his face. "Oh, well, that's fucking pathetic. It would have been better if you were a spy or something like that." He laughed again, although this time his tone sounded a little more serious. "Look who you are. How did you know they were coming for me? Who are they?" I bombarded him with questions without giving him time to answer. "Okay, calm down," he said, raising a hand. "I'm not going to tell you who they are, because I don't know either. But I can tell you something. They don't have good intentions." Great, I thought. Exactly what I needed to hear. "Okay, and how do you know about them?" He paused, as if reliving an unpleasant memory. "They came for me one day. I was reading about diamonds on the moon, and the next they were kicking the door down on me. This was months ago. I had to leave the city." I was confused. "Wait, what do you mean they tried to kill me?" "Dude, I couldn't believe it. And you were just looking at the links. That was all you showed someone else how to get there, or something." He raised an eyebrow, assessing him. "What I had just heard. They just came, took my laptop, and gave me a warning." Now it was his turn to show himself surprised. He really seemed to get lost in his thoughts for a while. "What did they look like?" he asked finally. "Men in suits." I answered without hesitation. "What did they ask you?" I told him everything I remembered, including the last thing they said. They also asked me what my priorities were. What a strange question. His expression changed instantly. For a moment he seemed to go blank. Yes, that is strange. No. What followed was silence, uncomfortable. I finally gathered the courage to ask him what had been with me since that night, that page, with only 4 links. What the hell is it supposed to be? He raised an eyebrow, confused. "I don't know what you're talking about. Here is where the things got really weird." After I explained to him in broad strokes what I had seen, his expression changed completely. Something in him seemed to be on the verge of panic. "What did you see on the screen?" He asked me with urgency in his voice, what I was also looking for. For a moment I felt completely lost. "Isn't that what you did?" He also shook his head slowly. "No." He suddenly closed his laptop and stood up. "Where the hell are you going?" I asked, alarmed. "We've been here too long. Look, I know you have questions, but I can't answer them for you. Go to a motel tonight or something." And just like that, he left. What was I supposed to do? Stop him? I barely knew who he was. The only thing I managed to get out of him was a name, Jackson, and he probably wasn't even real tired to the limit, and still a little drunk. I left the coffee shop. I tried to stay hidden while I looked for a motel nearby. I obviously wasn't enjoying any of this.